This is a video on how to switch out the UPS on an RDU board. The UPS is what powers the router and the monitoring unit, the RDU. And basically when you lose power, this falls back to battery power and these things remain on. The problem is this itself has a battery and the battery sometimes dies. So we occasionally have to switch this guy out. So what you want to do is you want to unplug all the cables that are plugged into this. There's a cable right here that's for the RDU. This cable right here, which is for the router. And there's a cable on the side right here that communicates the information from the UPS to the RDU. So you unplug those three, and then you unplug the power cable from the wall outlet or the surge protector, whatever it's plugged into. So everything's unplugged. Next, you want to take the flat piece of metal that I usually ship out with the UPSs, and if you look at, here's a new UPS. The UPSs, the way we mount them is we have screws that these UPSs sit on, and then we put a piece of Velcro on the bottom here. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to try to loosen the Velcro. It's going to be on the bottom side here. So what I like to do is put the piece of metal right here between the UPS and the wall, and then I'll kind of shimmy it back and forth a little bit. And you'll feel it come loose. And at a certain point, once you feel that Velcro come loose, you can push up on the UPS to make it so that it's no longer sitting on those screws. It's a little tricky here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the first one that's off. And you'll notice on there we have a piece of Velcro and two mounting screws right there. So here's the new UPS. One thing you have to do with all of the new UPSs, you have to connect the battery. So the way you do that is you turn it over. And there's a compartment right here. You open this up and you pull out the battery here. And you'll notice there's a black lead and a red lead. There's a red lead right there and a loose red wire in here. You want to put the red wire, connect it to the red lead. And there may be a spark or two, that's normal. And then you just put this back underneath, put the battery back in, cover it with the cover, and now it's ready to put on. Now I usually send it with a piece of Velcro. So if you'll notice on here, you just want to put the opposite side on the new UPS. So this side is prickly. So I'm going to put the smooth side on the UPS right here. You can peel off this little plastic cover and it'll stick to the UPS. Now what you want to do here is we want the holes on the UPS to sit on these screws, but we also want this to the Velcro to attach. So the tricky part about this is that the Velcro will want to stick together before the screws are before these holes are sunk on those screws. So what I like to do is take a piece of paper and cover the Velcro like that, and just hold it in place like that until you get the holes even with the screws. Then you just put them on like this. Make sure that the screws are lined up with those holes there. Make sure it kind of sinks on it like that so you can't push down anymore. And then pull out the piece of paper. And you'll see that that's on there pretty good. Then you just want to reattach all the cables. If you notice, if you zoom in on here, there's going to be an area that says battery plus surge on the left here where you have 5 outlets. You want these two to always plug into there. If you plug them to one of these, it's not going to fall back to battery power. So you plug that in there, plug that back in, plug this little guy back in there, and then you want to plug this back into the wall outlet. And the way you turn everything on is there's a power button right here. You press that power button and you will notice that the lights are starting to come back on the router. And if you'll notice right on there, the light is coming back on the RDU. And also on the RDU on the very bottom here, you'll see a blue power light. Once that happens, you can give us a call and we can see whether or not the RDU comes back online. And that's it.